What's up, guys? It's Alex the Magician here, back for another Heroes 3 tier list video. And in this one, we're wrapping up the artifact tier lists by ranking combination artifacts in terms of how good they are, also taking into account how difficult they are to assemble and their component effects as well. So do let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you would rank something differently and why. And also, I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the combination artifacts in general, because when I was taking a look at them, it feels like some of them have kind of really underwhelming effects for the components that go into them. And, I'll tell you what I mean when we actually discuss them. But I'm curious if any of you guys feel the same way. Of course, maybe if they were made stronger, they would be too OP, but still, I feel like some of them could, have an additional effect that would make them a little bit better. So let's just go ahead and get into this. All right, at the very bottom here, I'm going to rank the Cloak of the Undead King, aka Cloak of the Useless King, because this is literally useless. Like, out of all of the artifacts on all of the lists, even the Eagle Eye artifacts are more useful than this, because this does nothing, completely nothing. Well, except for the component effects, of course. The Necromancy has been nerfed in Hoda, and what this used to do is it doubled your Necromancy percentage. So instead of 15% bonuses from the component effects, this gave a 30% bonus. Plus, it allowed you with Expert Necromancy to raise liches instead of skeletons. And I think with Advanced, it was whites. But in Horn of the Abyss, that has been removed, and even the Necromancy percentage bonus has been removed. So literally, this is a combination artifact that you assemble that does nothing when assembled, except look pretty, I guess. So you still only get 15% Necromancy bonus. I tested this out. Honestly, I was surprised to see that it actually does nothing. Like, why did they not just remove the combination artifact? You can still put it together, but it does nothing besides the component effects. So that is why it's at the bottom. And of course, it's only useful when you are playing Necro or using Necromancy. For everybody else, it's completely useless. All right, next I'm going to rank the Admirals Hat. So another one that I decided to include just for the sake of argument. This will obviously only be useful when you, in a map that has water where sea movement is important. In most cases, like on Jebus Cross, there is no water. In a lot of other templates, there is no water. So, it definitely is not useful in those cases, but of course, if there is water, I can see it being pretty good. It gives you an extra 1500 movement on water, protects your army in whirlpools. It also allows you to convert your movement between land and sea and embark, and get off boats without losing your movement, without penalties. So you just continue to have the remainder of the movement that you had for that day. And it also gives you the spell Scuttle Boat and Summon Boat. So obviously pretty decent if water movement and, having a boat and whatnot is important. All right, next I'm going to rank the Diplomas Cloak, the Statue of Legion, and the Cornucopia. So Cornucopia gives you +5 of each rare resource per day. It's +1 for the component effects and +4 for the combination effect. So it's decent, but I really don't see it playing a role in a lot of cases, because I feel like when you actually can combine this artifact, at that point, the rare resources are not going to be that useful for you. Like, if you needed to build up Mage Guild or something like that, you're likely already going to have tomes by that point, and maybe you will have already built the Mage Guilds, and usually it will be faster to farm like Cyclops stockpiles and other banks that give you resources. So I would say, while it's not useless and it's not that bad, I just don't really see it coming into play and being very useful in most games. Statue of Legion, sort of the same story, more useful. It increases the growth of all creatures in all of your towns by 50%. So it's pretty damn good, and you don't even need to have it in the town because, you know, it'll increase the growth of all of your towns. And if you do want the component effects, though, then you do need to have it in the town. However, by the time that you can assemble this, you know, usually like on games on templates like Jebus Cross, it's not going to play a role because you will already probably have ended the game by that point. Now, I can definitely see it coming in handy in templates where it takes much longer to finish the game, or if you end up going into like a late game and build up your town on Jebus Cross. So in some cases, I can see it being useful, just don't see it that often. All right, and as far as the Diplomas Cloak goes, so in addition to the component effects that reduce the cost of surrendering by 30%, this also allows you to retreat or surrender when fighting neutrals. I believe you can also retreat or surrender from towns, you know, if you are actually defending a town. And it also gives you the ability to multiply your army strength by 3 when you're attacking neutral creatures or in the Thieves Guild. So it'll show your opponent that you're stronger than you really are, and it will allow you to diplo stronger armies or have, you know, stronger armies run away from you, you know, when you have this on. So decent. Also, don't really see it come into play that often, but I can certainly see it being useful in kind of a late game Diplo kind of scenario where Diplo is important. All right, next we are going to rank the Golden Goose and the Ring of the Magi. So Ring of the Magi increases spell duration by 56 rounds, 50 for the Ring of the Magi itself, 6 for the component effects. Pretty decent, not the best, but it's easy to assemble. You just need the Cape of Conjuring, Collar of Conjuring, and the Ring of Conjuring, which all are just treasure class artifacts, and in a lot of cases you can just find those on the map for free, you know, not being guarded by anything. So relatively easy to assemble, and it is good for heroes that don't get a lot of spell power, like a Craig Hack or a Tazar or something like that, and also to counter interference, or Giselle in particular. If you have this, then your spells like Haste and Slow will still last for 56 rounds, even if your spell power is reduced to 1. So in those cases, it can definitely be useful. And the Golden Goose is something that gives you additional gold every day. It requires the gold sack, bag, and purse to assemble this, and in addition to the component effects, it adds plus 5k gold per day. So with the component effects, I believe the total comes out to something like 6,750. And it is decent, especially decent in a Diplo situation where gold is important, or on maps like Jebus Outcast also, where you need a lot of gold for, you know, buying creatures in your town, etc. But, you know, definitely not the greatest artifact, usually not a game-changing one. Can definitely help, though. So not a bad artifact to have. You know, more gold is never harmful to have. The only problem with it is the fact that if you want to have it on your main hero, or like in a Jebus Outcast type situation, you know, you may get attacked, right? So you don't necessarily want to have it in your miscellaneous slots because it takes up 3 slots, and you may want to have other things on, like an Air Tome and, you know, maybe minus luck artifacts, minus morale, etc. So decent, not the best, but certainly better, I would say, than the Cornucopia. Okay, next we're getting into some interesting artifacts, and I am going to rank the Iron Fist of the Ogre and the Titan Thunder. So let's talk about the Titan Thunder first. I feel like this is a very underwhelming combination artifact, and this is why I have it so low, even though the combination or the effects of the components are really good. I mean, not the effects, but the stat boost, right? Because it is the Thunder Helmet, Sentinel's Shield, the Titan Cuirass, and the, what is the other one? Gladius. So those are really good. It gives you a total of plus 12, plus 10, plus 10 to spell power, or I mean, sorry, to attack and defense, plus 9, plus 9. God, sorry. Apparently I don't know what I'm saying, but plus 9, plus 9 to attack and defense, and then plus 8 to spell power and knowledge. However, the effect of the combination only gives you one thing, and that is gives you the Titan's lightning bolt, which is 600 damage and doesn't cost any mana, which is nice, not bad, but at the same time, it's not great, because if you're in the late game, which is usually, you know, where you would have this kind of artifact, like kind of mid to late game, you will likely already have better spells. And the problem with this is that the spells, the damage of it does not increase with spell power. So it's 600 flat no matter what. And so, you know, in certain situations that could be useful, like if you're fighting Giselle or somebody with interference, that might work out for you. And, but well, also for side heroes, if you give it to them and they only have low spell power, like 1 spell power or whatever, well, you're not going to have 1 spell power, you'll at least have 8. But overall, I would say that's a very underwhelming effect for the components that go into it. 4 relics, and all it gives you is plus 600 damage free spell lightning bolt. So the reason that I actually do have it this high is because of the stat boost of the components. It is pretty good to have plus 8 knowledge and spell power, and plus 9 to attack and defense. Now, the Iron Fist of the Ogre, pretty nice. It's something that gives you the ability to cast Haste, Bloodlust, Fire Shield, and Counterstrike at the start of combat, all at expert level for 50 rounds. So definitely good, you know, good against something like Giselle, of course, good on Jebus Outcast, because it's the only combination art, well, not the only one, but, you know, the only battle one. There's no Armor of the Damned and no Angelic Alliance. I'm actually not sure if Titan's Thunder is available or not, but the Iron Fist is definitely available, and especially when you can't cast Haste in Jebus Outcast normally, then it's definitely really good. Gives you a pretty good advantage. The problem with it is that the stats are not that great. It gives you plus 4 knowledge and spell power and plus 5 attack and defense. So the components are not that amazing, but the effect is pretty good for this one. All right, next I am going to rank the Angelic, well, no, not the Angelic Alliance, sorry. I'm going to rank the Armor of the Damned and the Sharpshooters Bow. So, Sharpshooter's Bow, really nice. It takes up 3 miscellaneous slots, and it's something that gives you the ability to shoot without penalty and across obstacles, and also even if your opponent closes the gap with your shooters, you can still shoot. So you'll be dealing maximum damage no matter what with your shooters. And you know, of course, to make this useful, you need shooters, but if you have them and you have the archery skill, also the component effects raise your archery skill by a total of 30%, I believe. So definitely a good artifact to have if you have ranged troops. And the Armor of the Damned, one of the better combination artifact effects. It casts Slow, Misfortune, Weakness, and Curse on your opponents, on the entire army for 50 rounds. So really, really good effects, but The problem with it is that the stat boost is very, very low. So the components take up your sword, shield, chest, and helmet, and it only raises your attack and defense by 3 and spell power and knowledge by 2. So, when you get to the mid to late game, where you're likely going to have better artifacts like the Titan pieces or the Angelic Alliance pieces, you are likely not going to want to have the Armor of the Damned on you because the stats are just going to be pretty mediocre. Alright, next I'm going to rank the Angelic Alliance and Power of the Dragon Father. So let's talk about the Power of the Dragon Father first. This one has a pretty damn good effect, but it's really difficult to assemble. It just requires a lot of pieces. I think it's like 9 or 10, maybe even 11 pieces total. So it requires the Dragon Tooth Crown, the shield, the Dragon Chest, both of the Dragon Rings, the Tabard, the Dragon Bone Greaves, and what else? I'm sure I'm missing something here, but oh yeah, there's also the Necklace of Dragon Tooth, so it's 8. I think there's 9. There's one more there somewhere. So anyway, definitely difficult to find all of those. And oh yeah, the Flame Sword. So yeah, that's, I believe, 9 pieces. Definitely not that easy to find them. The effects, though, if you can assemble them, are good. It makes all your units immune to up to tier 4 spells. It also gives you +6 to all of your primary stats, which in combination with the stat boost from the artifacts themselves give you a +16 all. So pretty good, and with the immunity to up to level 4 spells, can definitely let you pull some shenanigans like Armageddon, using Chain Lightning and not worrying about your units getting hurt. Your units will be immune to things like Berserk, so slow and whatnot. So decent, definitely a very, very decent effect. I probably would have ranked it as the top one if it wasn't so difficult to assemble, if it didn't have so many different artifacts, different components that you had to find. All right, and the Angelic Alliance, you're probably going like, oh, why are you ranking this as not the top slot? Are you crazy? Well, this is one of the ones where I feel like the effect is underwhelming, and the only reason that I have it this high is because of the components. The components give you +21 all. I believe I made a mistake in a previous one where I said +24 all, but they give you +21 all. And the combination, all it gives you is the ability to mix neutral and good alignment troops without morale penalty, and it casts Expert Prayer at the beginning of combat. So, not bad, but I feel like for having 5 relics plus the Armor of Wonder to combine this, it's difficult to assemble, but the effect is not that amazing. I suppose if you made the effect better, it would have just made it a little bit too OP. So I'm not sure if I would actually make the effect any better, but it feels like for 5 relics, it feels like the effect of the combination is slightly underwhelming. But of course, the overall combination, when you take into account the +21 all, is really, really good. So, and mainly the +21 all is the reason that I have it this high. And the top tier, so you guys may be surprised by this. Well, I actually kind of surprised myself when I ranked this, and I'm sure a bunch of you are going to disagree with me, but I've got the Wizard's Well and the Elixir of Life. And the main reason that I have these here is because they are relatively easy to assemble, and comparing that to their effect, it's ridiculous. So, the Wizard's Well, for example, it just takes 3 treasure class artifacts, right? The Charm of Mana, a Talisman of Mana, and Mystic Orb of Mana. You can easily find those just laying around for free on the map. You can find them in treasure chests. You can find them in artifact merchants or black markets. You can get them in crypts and, churchyards and black towers too, I think. Although I'm not sure. Do churchyards and black towers give treasure class artifacts or only minor? Maybe somebody can point that out in the comments below. But crypts, definitely. But for how easy it is to assemble, the effect is amazing. It is like a portable mana well, portable wizard's well that allows you to replenish all of your mana each turn, right? So for blue, for example, if you're playing as blue, it's even better because you will replenish your mana at the beginning, or at the end of your turn. As soon as you end your turn, you have full mana if you have this on. For red, it replenishes at the beginning of your next turn, so you can still potentially get attacked and not have your full mana. However, replenishing all of your mana for the price of 3 treasure class artifacts that are relatively easy to find and relatively easy to assemble, I think this is the artifact, the combination artifact that I personally have assembled more so than any other one. And yeah, it is definitely like this is the reason that I have it here, is because I just feel like the comparison, the kind of cost to benefit ratio is ridiculously high here. 3 treasure class artifacts let you replenish all of your mana, which can be really, really amazing. And the Elixir of Life, not as easy to assemble, but the effect arguably is even better. It gives plus 25% and also plus 4 for the component effects, plus 4 HP to all of your units, and also gives them the ability to regenerate. And I think that the regeneration is 75 maximum. Let me just look that up real quick. Oh, sorry, it's 50. It's 50 maximum. So you can regenerate 50 health on each of your units as well, maximum, right? So yeah, really, really good artifact. Not as easy to assemble because the Vial of Lifeblood is a major class artifact, then the Ring of Life is minor, and then the Ring of Vitality is treasure. So, they're slightly a little bit more awkward to find, but also not nearly as difficult to assemble as the Angelic Alliance, for example. And again, the effect, versus kind of the difficulty to assemble it, I feel like is really, really good. So for that reason, this can really make a difference in final battles, essentially making your army 25% more tanky, so I would say that that's a really good effect. So for that reason, I also have it at the top slot here. Alright guys, so on that note, I am going to end this video. We're concluding the artifact tier list series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Curious to hear your opinions, whether you guys agree with me or not here. And let me know what you guys think about combination artifacts in general. Do you feel like some of them should be buffed or not, etc. So, and as always, check out my Twitch stream if you want to see more English-speaking Heroes 3 content. Link in the description below. All right, guys, thanks once again for watching, and I will see you soon. Peace.